And to tell us about Linda, we have Ted Alejandre, Superintendent of Schools.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here tonight, and really want to thank and congratulate all the winners tonight. They're incredible individuals that have done so much for the communities in our area, for all of our students in all of our communities. And we heard a little bit about the school districts and their involvement with 2 board members from San Bernardino City, and I think the grad rate was mentioned. And I just have to share this because of the success of our school districts. San Bernardino County has always been behind the state average in graduation rates. Until last year, we surpassed the state graduation rate here in San Bernardino County because of those efforts. So thank you. But it's wonderful for me, and I'm really honored to be able to introduce Linda Miranda. She is an incredible individual who is passionate about the work that she's done. You know, she was born and grew up in Arizona and came out to San Bernardino County and has been with our county office for 20 years supporting the communities. I've been in education for 31 years, in the county office for 11. When I got elected as county superintendent back in 2014, I knew a little bit from Rialto and San Bernardino and Yucaipa because those are districts I worked in, but I didn't really have a lot of connections out in the West End. And that's the area that Linda supports and serves. And when she started to introduce me to people out in whether it was school board members or superintendents or business leaders or college individuals, every time she introduced me to someone, they talked about how much they appreciated Linda's support. Because through the county, we have the Alliance for Education, and we have partnerships with school districts to support their students. And Linda was a huge success in having that conduit and connectedness to provide districts with the support they needed to be successful in their programs. And she did it with such an intrinsic motivation. It wasn't just about fulfilling a responsibility, it was really about supporting the needs of students. She went a step further and started Reading Buddies programs directly with schools to prioritize literacy across not just the West End, but other areas in the county. And again, she did so with the most important reason, to support students and families. And I have to share, there was a group that was recognized earlier tonight. It was our Binational Parent Leadership Institute. They're here. And these ladies, you know, Linda introduced me to them early on, and she was really working them to become leaders in supporting parent involvement and really showing other parents how to become leaders, to build that capacity so that we can really connect parents to their school districts and the support of their students. You know, Frank Reyes and I, we both go to HACU every year, and for those of you that aren't familiar with HACU, it's a Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities, and they had it down in San Diego, and Frank and Dr. Morales were very instrumental in having K-12 articulation into higher education. We were asked to do a presentation on how do you bring the parent component into it. And we had our parents present down in San Diego, and they had an absolutely standing room only, full house, incredible standing ovation, because what they did was from the heart, and that came from the support that Linda provided them in really building their skills and working with parents. So I just have to say, it was a wonderful success. But I just have to say, it's such an honor to have Linda working for our organization. We can always count on her to really be that connector and that support for all the programs. But when you ask her what is her top priority, and she'll say work, and she'll say working for community, but I know that in her heart, one of the things she values so much is her 2 daughters and her grandchildren who are out here today. Her family is so special to her, and she does so much for them. And so again, a privilege for me to introduce Linda Miranda. Congratulations on this very special award.
Buenas noches. Good evening. First and foremost, I would like to give credit to my Lord and Savior for the tremendous blessings that He's bestowed upon me and being able to work in this capacity. I would like to take a moment to thank Danny Morales and Miranda del Pueblo for all the great things that they accomplished, that they're still doing, and that my heart is very, very much attached to the passion serving our Hispanic communities, our immigrant processes. I also want to acknowledge the Consul de Mexico, because a lot of my work that I do in serving the community is just very closely tied to what they are able to provide and resources and support to a community that would otherwise not have access to the possibilities. And so in working with the County Office of Education, with Librerías del Pueblo, with the consulados, we're able to fulfill and carry out our work to support all those that would not otherwise be able to access our resources. Really want to thank Ted Alejandro, my boss. He's an outstanding leader who really affords us, myself and my counterparts, the opportunity to work intrinsically with the community. If it wasn't for his approval and his trust in doing that, we're out there doing the job that we do, we would not otherwise be successful. And he has a tremendous leadership, and we truly appreciate Mr. Alejandro. I would also like to acknowledge my daughter Marisa, my nieta consentida Ariana, who tolerate my passion for the community at times. You know, they say, oh mom, here goes mom, she goes off on a rant again about being able to serve this population, about going to a political event, about being able to support the people that, you know, normally will fall between the cracks, because that's who I am. When I came from Arizona, I'm not going to go into my bio, but you will see that I was raised by the border. I spoke Spanish only. I was in kindergarten. I don't know what Mama was thinking of when she enrolled me in kindergarten at the age of 7. So there were no immersion programs at the time. But growing up in a very rural area, I very quickly learned the challenges of not being able to understand the language. I understood very quickly. I didn't know that I lived in poverty until I went to school. I didn't know that some of the personal effects that I had to suffer as a child, I accepted it as a norm. So when I grew up a very insecure child. It wasn't until I had a mentor teacher in 3rd grade, and as we say, there's always at least one person who can save the soul and spirit of a child. For me, that was Mrs. Ruth Lee. She was my 3rd grade teacher. And if it had not been for her, I don't know what I would have done as I carried on into my middle school and high school years. I would like to acknowledge all the mentors and the leaders that have helped me develop my passion for the community. One of them is no longer with us. Graciano Gomez, may he rest in peace. And his wife Trini, who couldn't be here tonight because she almost broke her leg, and so I was going to honor her legacy and her support of me as a woman growing up during all these years professionally and politically and all these different climates that we all go through. The theme of my conversation here is the mentorship and the leadership that we have. Eloise Gomez Reyes, for example, is just a tremendous icon in our community. I've had leaders like Frank Gomez, Frank Reyes, Upward Bound program, rolling back to Colton High School. I know he's rolling his head up and down. If it had not been for Frank Reyes and Aurelio de la Torre, who helped us, carry us in his little yellow Datsun car. Remember that little Datsun car? We would pack 4 or 5 girls from South Colton into the car to take us up to Cal State for the Upward Bound program, and we learned tremendously from that leadership and that volunteerism that Frank gave us. So, Frank, thank you from the bottom of my heart again. I also would like to be able to stand here to acknowledge and thank and recognize the amazing company that I'm in. These trailblazers who I'm humbled to be here standing amongst them. One of the things that we all have in common is the supporting and enabling equity for all. It is really important to recognize our work, our struggles, our accomplishments, most importantly because we need to be working together to lift others up who are in our presence and those who are yet to come forward. As women, we have the God-given talent to be caretakers and nurturers, especially in how we take our familia. I think that if we more often took the approach of working as a familia, I think that we would be a lot more successful as everything that we do in our community, because if we embrace la educación, as we call it in Spanish, of being able to support and respect one another, I think we would really accomplish a lot more in this world. Speaking of great nurturers and communities, I would like to acknowledge some of the leaders that have already been introduced here. We have upcoming leaders that are coming up like you wouldn't believe. We have women who have come in from Mexico who have become parent leaders in their community, in their school districts. Their children have already graduated, their children have already gone to college and come back, and they're still advocating for better, for attainment for students in different school districts. These women are the leaders that Ted spoke of. These women are the ones who are going to be our advocates, our next council members, our next school board members. We have one that's studying to be a psychologist, another one is going to be an advocate in Sacramento for special needs. Ladies, please stand so people can see you. In closing, I would like to all of us to support the young persons that are coming up by not just encouraging them to attain educational in college, going to college, but to seek out social mentors such as I've had and others have had. Because as you know, we don't do everything alone, despite our education attainment, despite a job. If we don't know how to navigate the social environment and the political environment, it sets us back a bit. And so when those young people have the opportunity to become mentored by somebody such as Jesse Valenzuela, Frank Reyes, and many others that have been there all along, we have the opportunity to be able to create new community leaders. One of my bosses told me a while back, to whom much is given, much is expected. And so we should share the wealth with others to bring others forward so we can do and advocate as we need to. There's much work to be done, as it already been said, and there are many that are wanting to champion their causes. There's plenty of room for everybody, there's plenty of work, and the sooner that we learn how to work together and play together, the more that we'll be able to accomplish. And in the words of Mahatma Gandhi, I would like to say, in closing, say that the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Thank you very much, and God bless everyone.